Looking good now with its new boots on. It's like the tyre fitter's left an oil can for us. It's handy. Looks bigger somehow. Had some phone calls this morning and sorting out some paperwork. First job now is to go and load some straw up for a boiler, a biomass boiler for the gather with the chickens. While I drive to Wellbrook to load them, here's a little bit of last night. Pretty eerie but cool. Another one there as well.
When, following many years of experience in the agri-food and farming sector that I've spent a lot of my life in, myself and a number of colleagues reached the conclusion that...
How much grain do you think you're getting here? It's got high walls, hasn't it?
Get it piled up there, about 8 metres there, heaped up in the middle here. I'd have said, I don't know,
10,000 tonne?
Yeah, I'd say 15,000 tonne I reckon in here.
Anyway, Rhonda's hungry, let's go.
Yeah, let's go, we need some food.
I think it looks better in the dark. It's cool, that, isn't it? Back now from the big smoke. Did you know that we import each year £56 billion worth of food, some of which we could grow here? 56 billion would pretty much pay the NHS staff bill each year, or at least run it for three months, I think. Food inflation in the UK has gone up 15% in the last year, but 29% on imported food as well. I don't know why the government doesn't think it's important to be producing food. It's just crazy. That's a lot of money leaving the economy each year when we could be growing it here. Crazy. Anyway, get home, get to bed. It's been a long day. It's now 11:30 and I've still got to get home. I love this car for parking in car parks though. Just get them down off the stack. Just take the hay cap screws out. The good thing is you don't need a drill to take them out. You don't actually need a drill to put them in, but it does make it quicker when you're doing a lot at the time. Yeah, so what we do is we unscrew these, we put them on the floor, then we leave them by next harvest. Good as the day they were baled, these. Probably too good for a burner actually. You got to keep them chickens warm. Well, the re-engineered gateway is holding up okay. We just need to carry on because the rest of it is like the Somme, including where we went putting that draining, but at least there's no flood in the field on the surface. But we're going to have to put some more drains across. Someone said yesterday that it was laughing because I said the number E. I think what I was going to say was the number 3, but then I realised it looked more like an E. This hasn't turned a track since Saturday, and the wind has took its toll. That's blown off, but we've got some coming, so we'll stick them on. I'm just looking now, guys here doing insurance renewal later, and one of the questions he always asks is, has it got data tag on it? Well, it hasn't, has it? So you get a discount with data tag, so we'll get a kit ordered for it and put it on it. See what Morgan's up to over here. He's got the John Deere around at the workshop. No idea what he's up to, I can't find him. I'm going to measure the linkage on the back of the quad track because the top down is on demonstration and it's going to go somewhere else probably before it dries up for us to have another go with it in actual proper conditions. So I'm going to measure if the linkage on the back of this will fit the A-frame on the front of the Claydon drill, because the Claydon drill is a 6-metre cultivator after all, with seed tubes on. So if we've got any ground that we want to dry out, we could perhaps rip it with the Claydon, which we have done in the past on some old spud ground. So but on this, because it can sort of float across the hollows, it could be easier to do. So measure across there, move that off. See, someone's probably telling me that they know the measurement off the top of their head. So just short they're 111 centimetres, and then that, don't know, I'll measure the triangle of that maybe. So from to the middle of that to there is like 87ish. We'll see what the clay measures. All right, Joe, that's coming off the back. Little things unraveled on the back. He's been brushing up and he's not noticed. Has a lock nut on it and it's not tight. Right, let's measure this now. Right, it actually will fit on dead easy. Morgan said it wouldn't. I must have. Morgan's got a sore eye. So we won't film him today. Yeah, that'll fit in there nice. The thing is though, is whether that's going to be wide enough, because that doesn't look wide enough. That's about 6.5 centimetres, I think it is. I know, a bit more. So I'll go measure that now on the tractor again, but I don't think it'll fit on. What's that other one like? We're just rooting now for some better front tines because some of them have worn out.
They're all the same, they're just really narrow at the bottom.
But they're not as worn as the ones that are on though, are they? Like them, they're
not as
really worn, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, okay. We'll see how much some new ones are. I think they used to be £70 10 years ago, 8 years ago maybe. So, don't know what they are now. But yeah, we might end up using that to rip ground up, so long as it fits. I'm just gonna measure now. Yeah, that'll fit easy. That's like 45mm. I think we had a 65 gap, so that'll go on nice. Presume you just leave the pin in, do you? Or do we need a collar on the pin, perhaps? We're not used to category whatever linkage that is. Is it category 4 maybe? Or 5, I don't know. You can hear over the noise of Morgan razzing around. Jamie Coolan is 50, Jacob Honeyford's 8. No idea how you pronounce that. Kayamine is Egan. Finley Jones 11, Matthew Grigg is 11, and Zoe Grace is 4, and we're at £62,160. But I'm really sorry, someone might be able to write that phonetically for me in the comments. I don't know how you pronounce it. But happy birthday, everyone, on today's birthday bumper. So tomorrow I'm going on an adventure to Stockport to a flour mill, and we're going to look at something. Should I tell you? Yeah, I may as well. So we're going around the Stockport flour mill to talk to them because they know how to bake bread. And the plan is, last year we had the combine at cereals and it was pretty cool. Well, this year we're going to see if we can bake the world's biggest loaf of bread. We think that'll be quite easily, but we need to know what temperature we need to get things to. And that's the difficult bit, is building an oven big enough to fit something probably the size of a small car in and get bread to rise in a big chunk. So the flour mill Nelstrops in Stockport obviously mill flour, but they also employ a baker that bakes with all the different flours to make sure they work and meet spec. So he's used to using lots of different things. We could have gone to a bread manufacturer, but obviously they just buy the flour and bake a million loaves a day of the same thing, and they want consistency. Whereas this guy works with doughs for pizza bread and everything. So I'm hoping he'll be able to teach us what we need to do, or whether it's possible to do it to the scale that we need to make the world's biggest loaf of bread. So we're going to go tomorrow, and we'll hopefully do a little bit of filming and show you how a flour mill works as well, which would be good. I have been in the past and it was really interesting. Hopefully it won't be too noisy, because the mills obviously chew the wheat up and do make a bit of noise, but we'll see. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. So there you go, the cat's out of the bag. That's what we're planning. Everyone said, what are you going to do after the combine run? We have got something planned for next year, but for this year we just thought, how cool would it be to make the world's biggest loaf of bread? There we go. Right, I've had a few questions recently. One was, why does this fertiliser spreader look a lot different to the other fertiliser spreader? Well, I'll show you. So in there is a big hopper. You put fertiliser in, it trickles down to the bottom, drops on that spinning disc, and that throws it. So that disc throws it 18 metres that way, that throws it 18 metres that way, and that's 36 metres. It controls the flow by this actuator, opening and closing a valve, opening and closing the shutter. So the bigger the gap, the more falls out. The faster it falls out, the faster you drive, and it knows how fast it's going, it knows where it is in the field, so it knows what to do to put the right amount of fertiliser on that we need. So that relies on throwing forces, shall we say. Now, the other one, which we probably won't use for fertiliser much, because I've bought it for sowing small seeds into crops. This works sort of similar. Got a hopper at the top, these down, and you've got a metering system which is like the corn drill. In fact, that's another question I keep getting. I've been asked twice in the last few weeks. What's the difference between direct drilling and not direct drilling? So I'll probably show you that. So that turns a metering system like a spiky wheel, meters it out. So rather than gravity, it physically meters it out. It drops into these tubes, and then these tubes blow it all the way to the back, where it then goes down some flexible tubes up there, round some bends into these boom sections. And if you look, they're made completely of tubey, plastic tubes and aluminium tubes, and it blows it then to the width of the machine. So if you can see, it says 6036, I think it means it's a 6-ton hopper, and it folds out to 36 meters, and it blows it out these little bits here. So these are spaced at sort of meter intervals, but because it's got that like spreader plate, when it hits that, it splashes it round. So then you end up with the total coverage across the field. That will work in higher wind than the other one, because you're not throwing stuff into the wind if it is a windy day, because you're just kind of dropping it down. And it just works like the sprayer really, but instead of spraying water droplets out, it's spraying out fertiliser droplets, if that makes sense. But yeah, so they look totally different, but they both do the same job. This is probably, like I say, more accurate in windy conditions than that one. That one you can get on quicker because you don't have to keep folding the booms in and out when you're pulling the field. And the hopper's slightly smaller because it's fully mounted, whereas this is on its own wheels, which are absolutely huge because they're like 48-inch rims, I think it's on it. 46-inch rims. Before I explain what no-till is, I'm just going to show James what a strip till drill is. So this is the claim that we were looking at before. This is a strip till drill. So what it does is, it works a strip of soil. So this 19mm point on the front, I think it is, that's how wide it is, cuts a groove, busts the soil so the roots can go down. Then behind it, which sits slightly higher, see the gap there between where that runs and where that runs, then sows the seed in a band. So that's what they call strip till. So all the bit in the middle, I want to say from there to there, but really there's a row of tines behind it. But basically, every 12 inches, it works a little strip and sows the seed. So that's what you call strip till. So you go straight into the previous crop sort of residue or stubble with that drill. And then the other drill that we've got is what we call a no-till drill, which I'll go over and show you. But till drillage or conventional drillage is where it's drilling, is where you go through like that top down that we did the other day on the back of the quad track, or you plough it. So you turn all the soil over, really boil it, then you level it all out, and then you put a seed in then. So you basically, your fields end up black once you've sown them. With a strip till drill, they're kind of like the colour that they were when the combine left the field, with little black strips. And with a no-till drill, you're disturbing so little soil, you can barely see you've sown them. By not moving soil means it's not releasing any carbon out of it, and it's more efficient because you're not moving soil, you're not burning fuel, moving the soil. Anyway, I'll show you this drill now. So you're watching James. So can you see the sharp discs up there? They're like a few mil wide. They cut a groove in the soil, and then the coulter at the back drops the seed in that groove, and then the wheel at the back, like a pastry sort of press, like what you make Cornish pasties out of or whatever, that squashes the soil back together. So you just left this little slit. Uses not a lot of diesel and not a lot of horsepower. So that's a 235 horsepower tractor on a 12-meter drill. The other drill that I've just showed you, the strip till drill, is uses similar horsepower, but it's obviously half the size. It's quite heavy to pick up because that's fully mounted and it goes on the linkage, whereas this is on its own wheels. But yeah, this is half the power requirement and obviously a lot less fuel, probably half the fuel requirements. Your conventional way of ploughing, you lose a load of fuel ploughing and you need a big tractor, and then you use another tractor then to work it down to then sow it. So it's just a bit more efficient. Some people say that this year is the year for ploughing, because if you ploughed it at the right time, you could have ploughed it dry, then got on the top of it in that dry week in September, stuff would look really well. Equally, if you ploughed it, sowed it, then it come really wet, it could also rot just the same as some of ours does as well. You know, some of the stuff that we sown at the optimum time looks amazing, some of the stuff that we didn't doesn't. So yeah, there's no one size fits all really, hence why we've got two different drills. And that one that's we call a no-till drill has got the flexibility of working in tilled soil like we did on Saturday, and the strip till drill can also work in less than ideal conditions as well. I hope that makes sense to the people that were asking. Anyway, I've waffled today, been in a meeting with the insurance anyway, but that's all for today. I'm going to go and talk now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Say bye. Bye.